This is our Bible passage analysis presentation. Mark 4:35 through 41. As evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's cross the other side of the lake." So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up, shouting, "Teacher, don't you care we're going to drown?" When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. "Who is this man?" they asked each other. "Even the wind and waves obey him." Basic details of the story. Jesus and his followers are traveling across the Sea of Galilee in a boat in this passage. The boat is in danger of sinking when a violent storm suddenly breaks out and waves smash over it. Jesus is dozing off on a pillow in the stern despite the mayhem. "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" the terrified disciples yell as they rouse him. Then Jesus rises, condemns the wind, and tells the sea to stop. There is an immediate sense of tranquility. He asked his disciples, "What's causing your fear? Are you still without faith?" Since even the wind and the waves obey Jesus, the disciples are in awe and wonder who he really is. By confessing their worry and asking Jesus for assistance, the disciples demonstrated their vulnerability. It's brave because instead of acting strong in a life-threatening circumstance, they admit their helplessness. They rely on Jesus because they are vulnerable, demonstrating that true strength comes from understanding when to seek assistance. Both physically and figuratively, they were all in the same boat. In order to control the boat and turn to Jesus, the disciples had to cooperate. In spite of their fear, they decided to wake him together. This instance emphasizes how crucial it is to unite during times of crisis, rather than developing chaos or assigning blame. In the midst of chaos, Jesus exemplifies composed and assured leadership. He leads with power and calm rather than fear. In addition to solving the issue, he challenges their faith and raises doubts about their fear in order to teach. A crucial component of transformational leadership is that Jesus could have chastised them for interfering with his sleep or for not believing, but he chose not to. He initially calms the storm in a kind manner. Correction was secondary to his concern for their security and tranquility. His answer demonstrates that compassion can also involve encouraging others to grow rather than just providing consolidation. Why, how, where? Why? Jesus used this moment to teach a deeper lesson. Jesus leads throughout a potentially fatal storm in a strong, composed, and self-assured manner. He maintains his composure and acts to bring about calm while the disciples are in a frenzy. Additionally, he takes the occasion to impart a more profound spiritual lesson. How? Jesus leads the disciples. In addition to calming the disciples' external storm, Jesus also leads them by facing their inner storm of uncertainty and anxiety. He strengthens their faith in addition to saving them. Where? In verse 39, it says, "He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, 'Be quiet, be still.' Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm." In verse 40, it says, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" These are teaching moments that challenge them to trust. Faith and vulnerability in real life. In our own reflections, we both thought about how vulnerability and responsibility affect how we want to love others. Once One of us reflected a patient interview in which the patient had felt ignored and not seen. Something we could understand would be how the disciples would feel while in the midst of the storm. We also shared individual experiences of exploring the unknown, like relocating or encountering new challenges which require trust and emotional resilience. These personal experiences resonate with the struggle between fear and faith in the Bible reading. As we saw in the story, presence and empathy, especially during fear, can be powerful ways of showing up for other people. It was a reminder that healthcare leadership is not just about what you do, it's about how emotionally available and being willing to show up for other people. Insight from class readings. The first quote, "The places where we are broken can be the places where we are most open." This quote speaks how fear and vulnerability create space for trust and transformation. Roman's words remind us that our moments of fear are not failures, they're openings. These disciples were afraid, but their fear opened their eyes to seeing Jesus in a new way. In our own work, we've learned that vulnerability is not weakness, it's how we connect and grow. The disciples' fear opened the door to a deeper understanding of Jesus' power. In healthcare, our broken moments can be opportunities for connections. Lessons beyond the story. This Mark 4:35-41 story is not just about calming a physical storm, it's about calming the emotional and spiritual storms that occur in life. Some of the class materials help to explain this further. Brown's TED Talk on vulnerability reminded us that embracing and talking about fear is not weakness but courage. The disciples reacted in the storm is an example of human vulnerability, which we all experience. Our guest lecturer on leadership during crisis showed us that excellent leaders don't panic. They stay calm and create a sense of safety. Jesus did that when he calmed the sea, and his presence calmed the disciples. Finally, from the reading Raising a Prince, we learn that emotional presence creates trust and resilience, two things that were crucial for the disciples during their time of fear. These resources helped us better understand the Bible passage and how we could respond with compassion and leadership in our own lives.